How are you? I hope you're all well. My name is Trish Bennett and I'm a County Leitrim poet who now lives in Fermanagh. I grew up on the Fermanagh-Leitrim border in a wee village called Kiltyclogher. And I'm dedicating this performance tonight to everyone in Kilty who's looking after my mum, because they've been very good to her while she's cocooning. And thanks to Stella and Mary and Grace in the shop, and even to Raymond the postman for getting her the messages in Manorhamilton. So, this one is called Jailbreak, and this is based on a conversation we've had lately. Jailbreak. Feck this cocoon. I am heading out, the mother declares over the phone. When I ask where she's going, she says, the chemist. I suggest that if she wants to risk her life, she heads anywhere but out for tablets. Bring Olive or Ina to sing along to their choir of ages CD. Go out at full blast like Thelma and Louise, speeding to the border in the Yaris. And these days, I'm thankful for little things to prevent accidents or falls when we're not around. So, God bless the bees. The mother, cocooned in Leitrim, takes out her frustration on wandering roses and other wayward strays who assume they can travel freely in the empire of her garden. She's terrified of bees, or she'd have the secateurs gripped in her arthritic hand while she hoists her cobalt knee onto a wobbly stool to stand and butcher the bumbled Berberis Darwini. Now, she's not the only one, I'm sure, at that kind of shenanigans, because the next poem I'm dedicating to my two neighbours, Tom and John, two powerful men. But they're always up to something. Staying safe. The 70-something next door is planted into a sycamore. His chainsaw roars as he lops, and him stretched out near the top. With everything at ground level trim, the other neighbour's up painting the chimney. His grandson sighs as he hears him say he might walk that roof at well over 80. Two great men. One of them had stopped the lawnmower today so I could record this. Thank you very much, Tom. I'm going to do a couple of poems from my pamphlet. The last time I read this was in London, at the London Irish Centre, and I was reading a poem about meeting friends after years. And who did I meet? Only a lassie from Kilty, Elizabeth Malone, who'd come in to hear me. And I hope you're well, everyone that's from the area, Fermanagh, Leitrim and Cavan, that's away at the moment and thinking of their parents. And thanks for coming, Elizabeth. And this first poem, my book is called, what's it called? Borderlines. And it's thank you to Hedgehog Press for having enough faith in me to let me print out my first pamphlet, 4 poems, and they're all about the border, and it's called Borderlines. And the first one is about the wandering bard, Cahalbui McGillicunna, or Yalla Charlie. And thanks to Pryn, Degnan, and to Rialton Ilanan for making sure I had my Irish right in this. And it's called Yalla Charlie, and Cahalbui had written a poem about the yellow bittern on Bun on Bui, and Seamus Heaney did a great translation of it, and it was basically about his mourning the fact that the bird died of thirst and reflecting on his own thirst and the way he used to carry on. So I read an article in the Irish Times about him, about Charlie, and it brought me back to when I was in Lochmacnain. We learned to swim at the lake he wrote about, the Irish Water Safety Association, and thanks to Mrs. Ritchie and Canon Ritchie for getting us all into the water in the area and teaching us all how to swim. So we used to pass that monument on a regular basis, and my father would always say, "There's Yalla Charlie." Never known by his fancy Cahalbui McGillicunna, none of that. Yalla Charlie. So when I'd read this article in the Times, I started to laugh. I thought of my dad and I thought, I have to write this. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. But I don't care, because it's a good story. Yalla Charlie. He was a whore for the bottle by all accounts, never laid in an empty bed, for the colleens loved his brogue and his yalla hair. A bit of a buck, they said. When he heard he was near, the parish priest in Omeath gave a damning speech. 7 curses on the soul who gives quarters to that wandering rogue, Cathal Way. Cathal called to his home, dressed as on Van Vogt, spent the night on his settle bench. The house was cowled in the morn, no stir about made, a verse on the wall, the gist of it went. You left 7 curses a hoggart muckree, O priest of my heart, on the one who gives quarters to Cathal Way. The 7 have fell on your own chi, for 'twas yourself that sheltered myself. Cathal Way had fled, and with him had gone the parish priest's top hat, his coat, and his dog, his stick, his horse, and his riding crop, and most important of all, his housekeeper. He was a queer rogue. And the next one is about settling down. It's in my wee book again. Morse Code is the name of it, and it's about finally finding my own place that I love in Fermanagh to live. And I still look out my windows and see Leitrim. So I'm never far away, and I know my mother's just across the mountain, and my family. Morse Code. I was born on wheels, never reached a full stop, till I found a bungalow of tile, dash and block that blends into bark of ash and beech, armchaired on a hill near Loch Ern's shore. The kitchen window frames fuchsia, roses, trees. The loch as it rests in the valley below, where geese return each year to mate, swim with ducks and swans who love themselves so much they clap their own applause. On the back of the rise beyond, the hospital lies flat. Behind that, the statue of old Cole towers over Enniskillen town like its chimney stack. As good days turn to dusk, I stand at the sink to watch the amber glow stretch itself out till the flat cap of Quilkey is haloed, before it settles into the sods of my people. Fermanagh, Cavan, Leitrim. On my return at night, our outside lights, high on the far off hill, spot my wheels on the lower road, dot Morse code between the trees, to call me home. And the next one then is about growing up in Kilty. In the village is the statue of Sean McDermott, who grew up outside our village, and he was one of the leaders of the 1916 Rising. And I grew up in the Troubles. It was going on in full swing, but I was young and didn't know any different. So we had a good time. And this poem is about that. And after that, I'll finish up with a few happier ones. So, we return home for the day, to pay our respects to another one gone. On the way down from the funeral, we pass each other. Stop, turn, stare, recognise childhood friends by their eyes. When we embrace, our voices echo off stone like the way our feet used to clatter off concrete pavements on the race home in full tilt from school. We played hide and seek at the back of the houses, tortured Gordon, Tommy Andy and Pat. for 10p mixes of cola bottles, fruit salads, blackjacks, licorice laces, gobstoppers, false teeth. Now we've middle-age mixes of arthritis, bad backs, real false teeth. We stand in the street, the Comanche plain and football field, reminisce about the crack that Baltic winter, going out after dark to sit on hay-stuffed 10-20 bags, clinging tight to each other as our sled train roller coaster blasted down the snow-filled hill of the cratered road. We talk, watch our children repeat the playtime climb around the plinth of Sean McDermott. No matter what troubles came, and they did, Sean stood unmoved, his stone eyes fixed on the hills of home. And I'll finish up with a wee one dedicated to my neighbours. It's called, actually I think I've done this one already, so I think I'll finish up with this one here if I can find it. And it's about a cure for COVID and what I would love that was the cure, or repels it even. It's called The New Vogue. Statistics say fewer women are infected than men, although I'm waiting for the experts to state that the bug is drawn to a made-up face, with heavy contour lines and eyebrows from an alien race. I'll cheer when they conclude that the folk who are immune are ladies of a certain age, who carry that bit of extra weight. Magazines will ditch skinny young things, for the muffin top is all in when it's discovered that the best way to repel COVID-19 is chocolate. Thanks very much, folks. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to know more about myself, God knows, I'm sure you don't have to listen to this. But if you do, you can look me up, Trish Bennett, writer, on Facebook, or at BAA Bennett on Twitter, or what's the other one? Instagram. And thanks to the McGriskins for christening me ba. I find it very useful now when I'm doing my Instagram and Twitter. So thanks very much, folks, and I wish you all the best. And stay positive. We have to have a laugh. If we don't, we'll only start crying. All the best.